brought to you by Bowlersmart.com, trusted by bowlers around the world since 2004. By Lightning Strikes Bowl, home of Bowlersmart Pro Shop. By Platinum Ford, drive the difference. By Fire Lake Bowling Center, 24 state-of-the-art lanes. By True Grit Coatings, drive on our passion. By Roll to Grip, king of them all. By 900 Global, striking worldwide.
Thanks to True Grit for being a sponsor. And look, the good is joined by the great. And we are very lucky to be joined by Triple Crown winner, the British Bolt, and the Dominator, all in one screen. Gosh, how lucky!
Thanks for having me.
See, so this makes 8 titles, right? 9 titles.
9. Yeah.
9 titles. No, there's 9 titles, 3 majors. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive go. And I think what gets lost sometimes is basically in your tenure out here, there hasn't been a ton of tournaments either. So, I mean, you get caught up.
Normally it's Bomo winning them.
Well, and he hasn't shared very much, so that does make it tricky, for sure, for someone to run through a majors resume like that already. Between him, Simo, and evidently you. So
Frankie, EJ, Bill, there's quite a few. No, Chuck, already Hall of Fame eligible. Multiple majors. Chris.
Eligible does it? Yeah.
Is there anybody with 3 majors not in the Hall of Fame?
Took Dell 4 votes with 13 titles and 2 majors to get in.
Yeah, I know, because they were idiots.
Or had higher standards.
Or there was more tournaments, so everybody was winning.
Yeah, maybe.
On medium patterns, I prefer to use all asymmetrical bowling balls and slower response symmetrical balls. Well, I guess you don't bowl on the PBA tour. So let's have a brief synopsis of your week. What did you like? What did you dislike ball wise? I mean, it didn't seem like you disliked much, but what did you see on the lanes that made you drill what you drilled, type of deal?
Yeah, things just went really well. From the very first, practice session, you're not really sure. I kind of go about my practice sessions a little bit differently now. But, not bowling in that bowling center for a few years, coming back, seeing my ball kind of push in the mid lane, where I like my ball to push. It's not really so much the fronts. It's more how much it can get down lane and sort of retain. It did that well. So I could use, big, strong bowling balls. I started off with the track Paragon for the first few blocks, and then that kind of evolved into the new Columbia Speed. I don't think I got into the Black Widow Ghost last week. I was a little bit too rounded. I wanted something a little bit quicker than that. I was really surprised at how strong a bowling ball I could throw. And I think as the week went on, especially into the match play, I kind of dialed that in more and more. And I could throw, big ASIMs from 5th arrow, which isn't usually the case in the PBA Tour.
Did you mention that you command solid? That seems
command solid had the speed, the new Columbia Speed, and then underneath that was a command solid. I kind of knew that ball from last year when I used it when we were out for the summer swing, which we had last year, and that kind of fell into that gap for me. So I could have have a lot of options available, and we're sort of talking to Eric Krause on the truck, and we had a couple of different options, but I trusted that ball and went with that first. And then I think we're finishing one night on the truck, and I said to Eric, I want to drill a command solid off of the one I had. I said, I want you to drill me something. You go and pick the ball, you pick the layout, just whatever you think's right. And I drilled the speed. He drilled the speed, which I hadn't drilled before. Mm-hmm. Obviously brand new. He did a layout on it, which actually I quite liked, which I don't even know if he liked. He knew that I liked that layout, which was pinned through my ring finger, right about 4.5 inches. So it kind of works for me. If I go stronger, then we drill out some of that differential, and it worked out fantastic. That's the ball I used in the show as well.
Yeah, and for guys at home, that speed is quite comparable to, was it the Intimidator?
I believe so. Yeah, I haven't actually seen too many of the numbers on it, but Yeah, I think that core is a little bit comparable, and obviously different cover stock, different colors, everything else, but kind of making that quicker ASIM.
And what was it on the TV pair that really convinced you that the speed was the way to go over something different?
We hadn't actually bowled on that pair of lanes since qualifying, so
Yeah.
we didn't get to bowl in a match play. Every pair is quite unique, and then when we bowled match play, there was 8 lanes down the low end, 8 lanes in the middle, and 8 lanes in the high end. They kind of played like bays. So I was kind of assuming it played a little bit in between the middle bay and the high bay, which it kind of did. Knowing the history of that pair, that one lane was going to be tighter than the other. And then for me, yeah, the really strong, quicker speed I had was too early, and it got too forward. There wasn't as much push in the front part of the lane on that pair as there was in the middle bay back a couple of days before. So then I went to the one that had that slightly stronger pin, but it had a weaker VAL layout, and it just allowed the ball to be quicker down lane. And that's pretty much the reason why we used it.
Yeah, and it looked like you still had to stay pretty steep. The one, I think it was maybe when you were on about the front 5, that first game you kind of missed in, and you got kind of the late hit on the right lane on the 10 pin. It looked like you kind of just didn't quite get it far enough right, and you get around it a little bit. So was that like kind of your focus, like trying to keep that angle pretty open, or?
It was the fronts. If I could make the ball roll in the fronts, it kind of gave me left. If I could get the ball to pick up early enough and I got it going at a steep angle, and then because I had that sort of free push after that, it allowed me to have left from there. So that was the one that I got in. That was the tighter lane. That was also the lane that had the roll off on it with the 2 urethanes, and they both 210s from 2 different spots down lane. So that lane was already kind of that tighter lane. And then, that's why I wanted to finish my match that I got to choose in semi-final on the left lane, because I knew that if I get the ball to pick up on the left lane, it would keep going. But the right lane was a little bit tighter. So yeah, a couple of definite fortunate moments in that whole TV show that kind of went my way. And that, I guess the head pin went in front of the 10. So I think it might have even been the 5 pin that made its way back over to the 10, all the way from the left-hand side of the deck. I don't know how it fell over.
So we do have to, just in the final, you have to talk us through. You didn't really see it. I actually explained to you how you sped that 3-6-10. That was quite the trick shot, bouncing it back off the curtain, off your ball into the 10 pin. It happened so fast that it actually looked like it was almost normal.
Yeah, just look at 6 and come out of the gutter and just chop the 10 pin down, and because it fell forward, he went, and then they showed the replay and went, oh.
It looked like when that happened though, that almost got you to like just, okay, let's just, because you had the not so good shot on the right lane where you washed out, and then that had happened, and it almost looked like it resettled you, sort of thing. Like you were like, okay, you got out of your process maybe for a couple of frames or something.
Yeah, I was definitely pretty disappointed with a shot on the right lane, knowing that I had to catch the front all week, and then I threw a shot that didn't do that, and it just kept going. It looked like I threw it 10 right off my hand. I definitely right, and it definitely got long. I don't know if it was 10, but it was awful. Yeah, regroup, good spare, just been sparing well.
Yeah, the washout was clutch for sure.
And then the next shot was about, making sure I did catch the front, get the ball to roll off my hand the right way again. And then I did it too well. I didn't need to do it on that left lane like that because there's hook, and then there was more hook. And then the spare, I've been missing a few 3-6-10s. Like Stewie hasn't missed one in
one all season.
Yeah, and I feel like at any moment I'm gonna either chop it or flag the 3 pin or whatever else. So for me, my mindset was on the spare, don't overthrow the spare, don't throw it too hard because that never works. But make sure you hit the 3 pin, because you don't hit 3 pin, you can't spare it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what I did too well. As simple as that sounds, making sure you hit the 3 pin at 3-6-10.
Yeah,
it's crazy how many times people miss it right.
It's pretty hard to spare the 3-6-10 if you hit the 6 pin.
So yeah, I got fortunate with that spare. And then I think after that it was probably a good time for me to go and sit in the chair and let Prater have a couple of shots. And was that when he left a light 8 pin, perhaps? I wasn't really focusing on him too much, but that kind of, a couple of frames went by and it was back to being my turn. And I think it was 8th and 9th frame. I think I struck in the 8th, and then the blow of 7 in the 9th. And then it was pretty much done after that.
Yeah, definitely. It was.
Alan asked, how confident were you after that first match? You had good ball reaction, and And like Alan says here, he says it just looked like you're going to be really tough to beat because you looked comfortable too.
I think there's a few things that I did quite well in that first match with having good ball reaction where, it gets to the field, the match is over in like the 8th or 9th frame, whatever it was. You could go searching around thinking about another ball, what's going to happen. And I tried my best not to do any of that. I just wanted to keep everything as simple in my mind as I could. I knew which ball I was going to throw. I was going to throw that ball until I couldn't throw that ball anymore, but I think I could make it work all game. So I think as you saw me bowl the 9th frame, I kind of came back and thought about where I'm going to stand after Prathers had his 4 shots, making sure that was clear in my mind. So I was already committed to that. On the right lane, left lane, I had 3 shots where I didn't want to move my feet too much. I wanted to kind of allow myself the room to move into for the next game without moving 3 boards or 4 boards in the field to change it. So just trying to keep everything really simple was what I did. I didn't, wasn't going in super confident like I got another 270 in me, but just trying to keep things as simple as I possibly could.
Jeremy mentions the most important thing. You had the back 6 that game for the extra 2,000. That was pretty nice. Charlie says he was confident AF. I think that would be fair to say. Steve, one of our Weber Cup fans, stalwarts, says great to see a fellow Essex lad winning. So going into the World Series, you're obviously bowling doubles with Simo. You guys have won the last 2 majors, so does that make you one of the favorites / the favorite to come away with that title? Yeah, I know you're going to try and play the underdog card here, but
no, I don't think so. Why not? I mean, anytime you can probably say your favourites over Bill and Belmo, I guess so. I mean, we've got 2 majors but all of that's irrelevant because you just have to go and bowl. So
yeah,
I think we're both in good form.
Now it's not always irrelevant. Are you calling your shot again this week, like you did last week?
You built me up quite well with that, Chris. Pointing out the fact that I had an opportunity to join you, not really believing I couldn't do it, but those things don't really happen. But I'm not going to go out calling what I'm going to do. I'm not that good.
Anthony points out that we've got a funny story about this. Says, love how you FaceTimed your wife. That was awesome. So Chris calls Linda. And Linda says, yeah, Dom, that was really nice that you FaceTimed Cassie during the show. Most times I don't get a call within an hour of the show finishing.
Yeah. So thank you from all the rest of the tour guys for screwing it up for all the rest of us.
The only thing in my defense,
he was so happy for you, and she was so happy that you're a better husband than I am. That's great.
I guess this is more in your defense than my defense. Like, there's no way that I could ever fly my family in for the TV show, even with a day. So, yeah, that's the only way that they could really be there to be a part of it.
But I mean, in reality, though, to do something like that in that moment means that you've pretty much pre-orchestrated / called your shot. So, I mean, it does kind of all go together.
Or maybe I'm just a nice person.
All right.
We do room together. You do know that we've traveled together, and
all right.
Are you the other 2 guests? We're not guests. We own the thing.
Don comes on. He's just big time. He's
It seemed like your ball. I'm thinking they mean your ball speed was higher than the other guys on the show.
Well, I guess, I didn't see Rash. No, I didn't see Rash, but I mean, the first 2 guys, obviously Maldonado and Tommy Jones, were throwing urethane, so they'd have to have their ball speed lower because it wouldn't slow down quite as much as a reactive ball down lane. And then I didn't see Rash bowl. I was kind of getting warmed up for that. And then when Prather bowled, he was an arrow further left than almost everybody, so he had to be slow with his ball speed.
Or Colby being
a cup replays.
Yeah, being from overseas, we have our Flow Bowling account actually lets you go and watch the TV show live on Flow Bowling. So that's really cool. One of the good things that Flow Bowling has been able to do for us overseas in our subscriptions. So Colby was in bed already, but Cassie went back and watched it, and he doesn't want to watch that. He wants to go back to what he knows and watching Chris Barnes and Uncle Stu.
Yeah. Who called their shot, Babe Ruth or Dom? Babe Ruth was the one who pointed.
Oh,
where
yeah.
he was going to hit the home run, and then he hit it though.
And Dom
Yeah, I
said,
don't think I could. Muhammad Ali, the
Frankie,
fourth
you
round.
can have the world championships. I'm going to go ahead and take this week. Need this one for the Triple Crown. Might not even hold the rest of the after that. He's also
just to fill everybody in, Frankie needs the world championships for his Triple Crown also. So that's why they were having a little bit of fun back and forth over it. So we're here at Turbo. Of course, Dom is making some more changes.
I'm making sure the other balls feel as good as the ones I've just thrown, I guess. Don't have to do much more than that.
So the last time we were here, about what, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Dom changed his grips, the holes from the lady grips to regular size grips because leading the Southwest region wasn't good enough. Making the TV show in Jackson as well wasn't good enough. He was right, obviously. Maybe me and Chris. I mean, I've changed my grip this season.
News. Dom changed his grip again.
So are we thinking that Chris needs to change a weight or something? I mean, I mean,
how do I be nice about this? If I was in Chris's shoes, like I was a couple of years ago, not bowling very well, I changed weight and I got unlimited abuse from Chris Barnes for doing so. And then I didn't just miss the TV show. I was outside the TV show in the World Championships. But I think I finished 6th. Sometimes change is good.
But change is expensive.
Yeah.
And for anybody who watches the show regularly, you know what the problem Chris has with change.
At least that changed. Gosh, I missed you guys.
But I wouldn't say anything to you. If I saw you one day with a different weight or a different fit, I mean, who am I to tell you, Chris Barnes, that that's a good idea or a bad idea or an expensive idea? No, I'm sure I'd leave you alone.
See, there you go. Yeah. My accent's dialed in, Chris. I walked past and heard them talking and stopped and said, "You're from New York."
Well, to be honest, Dom, you're now a peer. You know, we're in the same club, so.
I don't think I'm quite in your club yet. You've got a lot more titles than me and a lot more successes. But thanks, mate.
No, you're not done. So the Hall of Fame thing. By the way, some people brought up Hall of Fame and Dom next year. You have to be on tour for 20 years before you're eligible. So yes, Dom would be eligible to be on the ballot. But the reason why there's nobody else up is because they haven't met the qualifications from a tenure standpoint yet, and it's going to be a little while, I think. I guess so. Maybe in a couple of years, but
I think obviously Belmo was a member before me, so we have to get Belmo.
Yeah, I think the next two obvious ones are Rash and Bill.
They're coming up.
A couple of years, yeah.
Wow, been on tour that long already.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
What's your thoughts, Chris, about people being in the Hall of Fame and playing at the same time?
My feeling?
Mm-hmm.
I when I came on tour, Walter Ray was already in the Hall of Fame and then had 2 more Hall of Fame careers after that. Same with Norm. I've never been a fan of being inducted into a Hall of Fame for a tour you're still playing in. I don't think it should happen.
Yeah,
I don't think you appreciate it much because I think I watched Parker be inducted and then go out the next week and be a favorite, one of the favorites to make the show and win. And you end up downplaying the whole thing instead of celebrating the fact that you've accomplished a lifelong goal. And so,
is it kind of cool though in bowling that you get to still go and compete as a Hall of Famer? So obviously that's all I've ever seen. Never really thought about it.
I mean, at least from the PBA standpoint, my successes have gone considerably down, and so when I was inducted, I didn't feel like that was quite the same thing. But with with USBC, I still felt like I had Team USA stuff to go. I had some other things that could go on, and so it didn't make as much sense for me to go into the USBC Hall of Fame when there was still a Team USA career and some of these other things there that I felt were left. And so, had it been my choice, I would have waited a little bit longer before I was put up to nomination. So.
All right. Well, it looks like we've got quite a few ball questions coming in. We're
Okay.
not going to answer those while Dom's in here. So if you guys have any other questions for Dom, we'll take those, and then we'll let Dom get back to fixing the things he needed to fix here. And we're going to try and we've got a product show that we need to catch up on. So we're going to have 2 of those in March. I'm thinking that we're going to do it on Thursday. It's probably going to focus around the gem. So,
Right.
yeah. So, they said, I have no idea about golf, none whatsoever.
The rule we have in the PBA is way better now, where you're 20 years in, you know, you're going to be way closer towards the end of your tour life than if just, hey, as soon as you get to 10, well, Dom may be on his way to 30. So why would you want to be in and have 2/3 of your resume is still to go?
Mike has a pretty good question here for Dom. This might be a good one to end on. What changes in his swing did Dom make that Randy referenced?
I think there was a few things that happened. Like my timing got a bit late. Even though when I watched it on video, I think I was just carrying the ball a little bit too much and it wasn't as free as I would like it to be. So even though when I watched it on video, my timing looked like it was okay, it was more upper body muscle than it was free. So that definitely happened and changed slightly the last couple of months. The more I've been bowling out here and competing day in, day out. And then, because of that, there's my swing got behind my back, which made my elbow bend, which gave me a really weak wrist, which still is probably, it's always been a fairly weak position. It never gets as strong as some of the guys, but there's a lot of movement in my elbow as I come through my release, but those lines weren't in the right place at all. So yeah, probably a little bit of fit where I was a little bit too stuck in the ball, trying to get out of it. Swing plane issues, a little bit of timing issues, and stuff that you can work on at home all the time, but you can never really tell what works until you come out here. You can do anything you want at home, but until you use it in competition, until you try and do a couple of little things with your release or ball speeds or angles, and then they clearly don't work, and then you have to go home and try and start again until you come out here again. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on that hopefully are on the right path now.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely looks like, you know, when you came to Austin in January, you definitely look like you were ready to go. So, well, congrats again on all of the hard work paying off, and get back to it on Friday. We bowl the doubles, so we got a couple more days here in Detroit. We're going to try and go over to Lodge later on this afternoon. Throw a few balls over there as well. But this morning, we're going to finish up here at Turbo. And good times.
Great. Well, thanks very much for having me, and look forward to talking to everybody again soon. And Chris is bowling a 9-pin no tap with the seniors this afternoon, I believe. So good luck.
Man, I love you guys. You're the best. So, congrats, Dom, and thanks for leaving.